Hello and welcome to Abby's Coaching House, your home of transformation. It's always a pleasure having you here. My name is Coach Blessed Abby. So today we talk about anger. It's the second time we are talking about anger. Let's see what more can we learn about anger. So the last video we did was about how to manage your anger. And this video is in response to one of the comments that our viewer posted that read, thank you for this enlightening video. Could you please give us more tips on anger management? In that video, we shared several tips of anger management, and today we'll just add a few. So recently I was talking to somebody and I remembered about my own journey with anger. As a young girl, I had terrible anger outbursts. I remember one time when we had an argument with my brother and we were young, and I just took him and hit him against a table. And I remember Dad coming, watching us, and he just shook his head and left. I think he must have gone back to his room to pray because he just wondered, what is wrong with this girl? And I remember him telling me one day, you need to learn to manage your anger. And you need to pray because the anger you have is the same anger your grandmother had. And so being a spiritual leader in my life, my dad has been a spiritual leader in my life. He really influenced how I saw things from the spiritual view. And so he told me, you need to pray about this. You need to learn to manage your anger. And so as I grew up, of course I prayed about it, and as I grew up I kept learning more ways of managing anger. And nowadays sometimes people ask me, do you ever get angry? And I say, yes, I do. The only difference is what I do with this anger. And I also remember Mom, when we were growing up, Mom used to be mad at us sometimes when we did something wrong, and she would say, please leave my presence because I don't want to say something that will affect your life. She understood that her words, her actions, and things she did could affect us and our destinies. So she kept herself from, saying cursive words and such things. I talked to somebody who told me that one of the things that has really hurt her in life are the things her parents have said about her. They have been, cursing words out of anger. The parent would just say something without even thinking about it. And without knowing, we leave a scar in our children's lives because we are just saying things carelessly. And last time we mentioned that when you're angry, it's the worst time you can ever make a decision. It's a worst time to even talk because whatever you say, you're not even in control. You are likely to react to situations instead of responding to situations. And so it is very wise to know how to manage this anger. We say that if anger is not managed, it can lead to health issues, it can damage relationships, it can do a lot of damage. We talked about people who are in prison because of anger. They did something out of an anger outburst. Now they regret it, but it's too late. They have to pay for what they did. We had some tips of how to handle anger. One of them was acknowledging that you're angry because most people ignore their anger, and when it piles up and builds up, they do something they regret. We also mentioned the importance of physical exercises. Physical exercises are a great way of regulating yourself. When you're mad, when you're angry, when you're stressed, it's such a great way of regulating yourself. Going for that walk, going for that run is so important. We also mentioned that it's important to acknowledge what triggers it. Is it frustrations? Is it stress? Is it certain types of people, what they do, the actions they do? We also mentioned the importance of journaling. Just having that, your book and your pen and just writing down how you feel is so important. It's such a great tip of managing your anger. We also mentioned, I actually shared that personally I talk to my anger. I sit down, talk to my anger, reason with my anger and ask anger, what exactly are you saying to me? I also mentioned the importance of forgiveness, because sometimes our anger is out of perceived injustices, something somebody has done, and we are holding on to it. We are unable to forgive, or rather unwilling to forgive. And so we mentioned that it's important to forgive. There's a video on that. I will link it here so that if you need to learn more about forgiveness, you can watch it. But then we said, if all these things are not working for you, why not seek professional help? Because it really can save you a lot of trouble. We said we should not let anger steal our lives from us. We should not let anger drive us. We have to be in control of this emotion, anger. So what more tips can we have today on anger? I have 5 more that we can talk about on how to deal with anger. One of them is practicing mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is all about being present. Most of us do things without thinking about what we are doing, we say things without giving it a thought, but it's so important to practice mindfulness. Meditation is also a great way of regulating yourself. You can have a guided meditation or just a quiet time where you lock out everything and stay quiet. Having at least 10 minutes a day to just be quiet, alone, not talking to anyone, not listening to anything, is so powerful. In this very busy world, people miss out on these quiet times, but we have to be very intentional on creating times to be alone and quiet. And I just wrote them here so that I don't forget anything. And the second one is redefine what situations and circumstances mean to you. Sometimes the reason we are angry is not really because of what has happened, it's because of the perception, our own perceptions of what has happened. Because somebody else may experience the same thing and not have the same anger outburst like ourselves. The meaning you give to what is happening. Like somebody can say something and to you, you perceive it as, these people don't honor you, these people don't respect you. Yet, maybe to another person, it was just a joke or something very light. So it's important to redefine what meaning do you give to things that happen in your life. Once you master that, you become a master of this emotion, anger, and so much in your life that can help you to lead a very happy life. And the third thing is practice healthy communication skills. It's no wonder that every course that we did when we were in campus, the first year had a communication skills 101 course. And I remember some students saying, why do these people have to teach us how to communicate? Up to this time we are grown-ups, we know how to communicate, but it's really important to practice how to communicate effectively. Because sometimes what you want to say is important, but then how you say it really matters. How it lands into someone else's ear really matters. So it can either go to stir up, commotion or to bring peace. Yet it was something very small. So how do you communicate to people in your life? How do you communicate to your family members, to your co-workers, to the people that you love? Because sometimes you will say something and you don't mean damage, but the way it lands to their ears really causes damage. So it's so important to practice and know how exactly do I say what I say? Of course, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be natural, we shouldn't be ourselves, but then we need to be mindful of how other people feel about the things that we say and we do. Number 4, we need to practice or exercise stress management skills. Stress will hit us at one point or another. Things will come in our lives that we do not expect. But how do we choose to handle them? And so, as we talked about it last time, going for that walk, going for that run, go to that gym and lift those weights, direct that energy, that anger to something beneficial. It's something that can really be of help to you. So how do you manage your stress? Don't let yourself be this kind of person who, I remember when we were in high school, a teacher would, actually in primary school, a teacher would come, cane us so badly, and then the pupils would say, I think this teacher is angry at someone at home. This kind of anger is not natural. Could you be that kind of person who, when you're angry, at work, somebody angered you at work, but then the people who will pay for it are your family members. You go home and when your child says, hi dad, hi mom, the facial expression you give them, they're even wondering, what did we do wrong? It's so important to practice stress management skills. Another thing, and this is the 5th one and the last one, take necessary breaks. Take distractions if you have to. Do something that you love. Most of us live very boring lives. You wake up in the morning, you take a shower, brush your teeth, take your breakfast, go to that vehicle. The next thing you're mad at somebody, maybe you even woke up late, you snoozed your alarm several times, and then now you're in traffic, you're angry at this other person who is peacefully driving to work, you're cutting off other people, and you're so mad, insulting people, they can't even hear you, they don't even care, but then you're there so mad and so angry. And then you get to work, the first thing you do, you're angry at your co-worker for something you perceive they did, and you feel they offended you, and then you do your work the whole day, go for lunch, go back home with your anger, unleash it on your family members, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. What can you do during your day that can create some loosened up moments, some moments of happiness? In my coaching program, we call them buzz moments. We actually teach you how to create buzz moments. Moments that add more life to you, moments that make you happier. It could be simple things like listening to music, watching a podcast, listening to somebody. I remember when I was working in this office, and every morning I would tune in to Joel Osteen or somebody, and people would always ask me, why do you keep listening to this? But there is a way they would give me a trajectory for my day. They would just map my day. They would help me to start the day with power. So it's very important to take necessary breaks, distract yourself. If something is happening that is making you go nuts, just take a break, take a breather. And one thing I should add, I said that was the last, but something else has come to mind. Practice breathing exercises. Just breathing in, like where you breathe in, hold your breath, count 1 to 7, then release it slowly. It's such a great way of aerating your brain, regulating your heart, and just helping you to take back your control. So that if you are going to say something that would be of damage, then you won't say it because you have actually regulated yourself. So those are the things I could add. I know there could be many more. Again, I will still emphasize, seek professional help if you have to. You don't have to go to prison. You don't have to hit somebody or do something you will live to regret, something you will live to wish you never did, just because of a moment of anger. It's important to have an anger management plan, something you can do to manage your anger. I mentioned previously that I have this client who told me that some time ago she used to be angry and she would be very, very destructive. She would literally destroy things in her home. She would be so mad. So one day she asked herself, what can I do? And she opened an account I would call an anger management account. So anytime she's angry, she sends some money to that account. And you know what that does? It makes anger costly, but it also makes it beneficial. Recently, she told me she went for a holiday, and I want to guess that part of the money came from that anger account, because she told me that money she uses it to make herself happy, because then she was angry, but now she rewards herself by being happy. Such a thing is such a genius way of managing anger. It's such a great plan. So what plan can you have? If you know you're going to meet somebody who triggers you to be angry, sometimes it's important to premeditate. How will I respond to this person? You know, there are people who are prone to making you angry by how they speak. Now remember, you cannot control the other person. The person you can control is yourself. So it's important to ask yourself, how will I respond to them? Will I be quiet? Will I answer back? What will I do? That really helps, especially when done at meditation hours. It really helps because you have already conditioned your mind for peace. So whatever this other person does is unlikely to take you off the right route. Finally, be patient with yourself, but also be persistent with your anger management. It's challenging. It's not something that I say is easy. Sometimes it's a challenge, but then it's a character goal that is achievable with consistency, with intentionality. You know, being intentional and telling yourself, I have to beat this anger. I have to manage this anger. So I challenge you, take control of your anger. This is a natural emotion. This is actually a good emotion. How you use it is what matters. So I challenge you to take charge of this God-given emotion. What will you do with it really matters. I hope this has been helpful, especially to this one person who said, share more tips on anger. Because as we said last time, anger can ruin your life if you let it. So are you going to let anger ruin your life? If you like what we are doing, and maybe it's your first time to be here, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, join this family. Let's grow together. This is the place where we challenge ourselves to grow into incredible persons, to grow into the best versions of ourselves. So join this family. Let's share more. Let's grow together. Let's hear about what you think about anger and anger management tips in the comment section. Share with us what you have learned, what has stood out for you. Please share with us. Share this video with somebody else who might benefit from it. Let's spread the word and let's create a happy world. Don't forget to leave us that thumbs up. You know, just press that like. It's so free and we appreciate you for supporting this channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you being here. See you next time when we do another life transforming video. Bye.